So, Mathew, Blair.
I heard today that you shouldn't get back surgery unless you have a dead leg, which is a term I really like. I think I might need to get back surgery. Well, this is an excerpt from a story called Sloth. Last night I had the strangest dream. I was pissing a stream of bees. I don't know what to make of it. At work, nobody noticed me. And when I got home, I went straight to the bathroom and squeezed. But this time it brought little relief. It's obviously getting much bigger. Today I woke up holding what felt like a whole other face on my face. The pressure had become unbearable. I looked in the bathroom mirror. It had grown overnight. My face was becoming stretched along the cheek. My left eye was starting to sag. I have to get this checked out, I think. Enough is enough. It was getting gruesome. The tip, or the nipple of the thing, was beyond engorged. It was opening. I couldn't deny it. If I looked really close, there was definitely an opening inside of the blue-black. I could almost slip a toothpick into it. It was too scared to. So I put a red scarf on and went to work. Gerald looked at me like, "What's with the scarf?" when I got in the truck. But he didn't say anything, and I didn't say anything either. I went to a place on 14th Street called Doc's. I read A Good Housekeeping and several pamphlets about STDs while I waited for a plump woman to handle my files and get back to me. I looked at the other pamphlets: alcoholism, diabetes, drug addiction, nothing about swollen faces. Finally, a petite nurse led me into an office. She asked me what the problem was, and I told her there was something growing on my face. Then I showed her, as plain as the sun, and she looked at it and touched her chin and told me the doctor would come in a minute to see me. The doctor arrived, said hello, then while producing a small light like a magician. He snapped it on, then off, slipped it back into his pocket. "It's nothing," he said. "Wash your skin more. Take some antibiotics and call me if it gets any worse." "Are you sure?" "You'll be fine," he said distractedly, while jotting the prescription down. The physician's flourish. The nurse handed me the note. "Then I'll be fine," I thought to myself. So I took the train home and rested my face, set the pills down, and fell asleep. I woke up laying on the thing, with my head to the left, almost propped up by it, with a terrible pain emanating from the whole side of my face. I was still dreaming of something that was quickly washing away. Awaking fully, I ran to the bathroom, hit the switch, heard the bulb burn out, and stared at my face in the moonlight. It was huge, monstrous even. I squeezed on it, which provided surprisingly sweet but very short relief. Oh my God, I thought, it's going to take over my face. I laughed, and my mouth laughed back on a slant in the mirror. It was mutilating my smile. What shock and horror. I went into the bedroom, found the pills, and ate the whole bottle of madness. To save my face, I thought. To save it or die. And I fell asleep, had no dreams, and woke up the next morning with my head to the right. I was clearly drugged upon waking. There was drool on a pillow. I was numb. I reached up and touched the side of my face, finding the tip several inches before I expected to. Save my Christ, I thought absurdly. And I went into the bathroom and immediately threw up. I didn't need to look. I could hold it in my hand like a melon. "This big," I said out loud. Then I threw up again, shivered, fell asleep, and had a dream of a huge animal raising itself over me 3 times, and I woke up shivering on the tile. What could I do? I dragged myself out of the bathroom, holding my head, my ass, anything but my face, and this terrible thing there. I looked around for my cell phone and just barely managed to call into work safe. For a moment, I thought of Gerald getting into the truck and the ugly white tennis shoes that he always wore. And I squeezed my face on the floor and I wept. Within seconds, my jaw popped and there was a creaking sound in my skull. And I tried to yell, but nothing came out. And then a huge sucking noise overwhelmed me. Something was making its way out of the tip. I could smell it. And the hole opened up to something hard and wet that smelled like wool, but also felt wet. And then, unmistakably, something dropped. The whole side of my face lightened. Except for all the loose skin, I felt symmetrical again. It was a miracle. I looked down next to me, and there was the sloth. He was wet, like a bandit, and smiled. Sweet Jesus, I thought. How could a sloth have come out of my face? What is the meaning of this? I felt delirious. Paced around the room looking at my watch and saw nothing. My mind was broken, running in a loop, with the same questions racing in circles. How could this be? Or why a sloth? And what has all this to do with my face? Yet there he was, curled up on the floor about the size of a burrito, with 4 claws hanging like meat hooks in a pile. What was this sloth's name, I thought, which was an absurdity. And then where did he come from? And I looked out the window, but the window was closed. And why a sloth of all creatures? Didn't sloths come from Brazil or Central America, Africa, Madagascar? It hardly mattered. I was in Queens. A bus passed, and a woman walked by with a cane. That was it. There must be some kind of mistake, I thought, which was also an absurdity. And yet, there he was, like a bandit. It was too much. I had to normalize my days somehow. I decided to take a walk and smoked a cigarette in front of the church about 100 steps from my door. Standing there smoking and thinking, a woman walked up to me with her head in her shoulders. ¿Por qué está cansado? Which I didn't understand, so I said, no cansado. Thinking she meant money. And she said, y la perecita. Which I didn't understand either, but it didn't matter. Because by the time I put my hand in my pocket, she was gone. I thought, shit. Scratched my groin, put out my cigarette under my shoe. I knew I couldn't avoid it forever, so I went home and examined the sloth.